Welcome, Strategy Battle Gamers, to another GBHL YouTube video. You are here with GBHL James.
And GBHL Jamie, and we're going to be reviewing the tournament that we went to in Mansfield. It's Dreamlike Gaming.
Dreamlike Gaming in Mansfield. We both went to the tournament, and this is going to be our musings, our post-tournament musings about how we think that tournament went.
Yeah.
What we thought about our forces, our opponents, the weekend as a whole,
Yeah.
venue.
Everything.
Everything, it's all in this video. So what I recommend that you do, because I imagine we'll be chatting about this for a while.
Yeah.
Make sure you get your paints out, get your paint station ready, and try and get as much work done as you possibly can.
Start painting.
Start painting. Now, what we would like to say at the start is congratulations to our very own GBHL.
Oh, mate. Oh, turkey.
Oh, yeah. You not like the turkey wrap?
No, it's nice. It's just back up. Tasted it again straight away. Enjoyed it that much.
We'd like to congratulate Jamie Giblin. He's doing a GBHL, James. Come on.
I won.
He won the tournament. Well done.
Yay, me.
Well done. Tournament winning Wood Elves absolutely smashed it.
Living up to the name.
So we drove down together, didn't we?
We did, yes, yeah. We also picked up Alistair and Kieran.
Alistair. Now, Alistair, this was his second tournament.
Yeah.
He travelled up from Cardiff, Bristol.
Yes, Cardiff.
So he travelled up to us, and he stayed with Kieran, who lives in Wiston, which is towards Liverpool.
Yep. And then we all met up on the Saturday morning, drove down.
I drove down.
Yeah, well, you drove.
It wasn't a team effort.
We as the collective drove together.
Yeah, we had an early start. You arrived at the station about 8 o'clock, didn't you?
Yes, it had a bit of a nightmare. My first train of the day. First train. Nothing. No other trains were running yet. This train was 8 minutes late, so somebody obviously was late getting to work. There's nothing else.
Disgraceful. We were panicking because
it's like, oh no, because if this is 8 minutes late, I'm going to miss my connecting train to get me from Manchester to Stockport, and then the next train was like another 20 minutes, so that would be a 30-minute delay on our journey.
And we'd have been late for the tournament.
We'd have been late.
We'd have been late for the tournament because we were cutting it a bit fine.
Yeah.
We were due to get in about 9:30. I think the tournament started at 10.
Yeah.
And it says it's an hour and a half journey, but with all the crazy weather that we've been having in the UK, and we have to drive over Snakes Pass. Snakes Pass is called Snakes Pass for a reason. You know,
it is the windiest, most dangerous, horrifying road ever.
That'll make the experience a little bit better for you. I'm not a bad driver, am I?
Oh, bad driver. No, I just hate Snakes Pass. Regardless of who's driving.
Would you have gone across Snakes Pass with Charles?
No comment.
That means no.
That's a no.
So we drove down, and now Snakes Pass, it's the kind of road that if it's even slightly windy, they'll close it.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of groundwater.
There was like a torrent just like.
Yeah,
when we went down from the top.
Yeah, all the water was sort of draining down the road from the top. But we did end up making it safely, despite all those 50-mile-an-hour speed limit restrictions. Yes. When you pass your driving test, you learn that having to drive 50 miles an hour on a motorway is incredibly frustrating, especially when there are no roadworks going on, and they say that they are. They put a few cones along the side.
Calm yourself.
But anyway, we got there. We got there about 10 to, didn't we?
Yeah, just in time.
And Dreamlike Gaming is actually situated in like a weird kind of
retail industrial estate, isn't it? It's just it's essentially like just shelters.
It wasn't quite. It's an industrial estate, but there seems to be quite a lot of retail there.
Like there's lots of retail, there's lots of sort of sandwich shops, obviously for things like workers. You always get some burger vans around an industrial estate just because that's the business.
Good business.
But then there's lots of small shops like hobby stores essentially, for other hobbies, and it's like this is a really weird little place.
Yeah, it was. So we got out and we walked in, and it was busy. How many people were going to this tournament?
Well, there were 22 on each day, 4 one-dayers.
Yeah, 4 one-dayers. Which is pretty good. It's great to have that option. That's why we've got that option at Stockport. Although only one
person's bought one, so we are thinking of potentially just.
We've been asked by Element Games and the Northwest Gaming Centre if we want to take down the one-day option just because it's taken up space on their thing. And let us know if you're intending to buy a single-day ticket.
Because for us, there's no point in us in a sort of selfish little way. Seeing that there's still 100 tickets available and 99 available makes our event look less desirable to go to. So, there's loads of things, I can just leave it.
So if you want to buy a single day ticket, buy it now, before that option gets taken down, because it does look like it's going to get taken down. But their tournament, if you looked, there wasn't like a big complicated rules pack or anything.
No, there wasn't a rules pack.
There wasn't a rules pack.
Turn up with 500 points, and we're going to play through all 6 scenarios, 3 in one day, 3 in the other, and you get 3 for winning, 1 for drawing, or 2 for drawing.
1 for drawing.
1 for drawing, and 0 for losing.
And how did that make you? Because you're an experienced gamer. So for myself, I know that as a relatively new gamer that I look at something like that and I think, oh, I'll go to that. It doesn't look as intimidating.
Yeah.
There's not as much to it.
I think being told you're playing all 6 scenarios is fine, because it doesn't really matter what order they get played in, because you're playing them. I was more worried about the Huddersfield event where I knew we were playing 4 scenarios, and I didn't have a clue sort of how it was going to be. Are they randomly selected? Are they pre-selected? Do you know them? Do your friends know them, but we don't? And as the tournament gamer, I was thinking, well, if we're going to be playing loads of battle, whole ground things, I want a big mobile force. But if we're playing, the scenarios that benefit a hero force, I want a hero force. So, quite a lot of people who weren't sure how to brought along a few armies, so they could choose on the day, basically.
Which is naughty.
Yes, allowed.
Yeah, not at our tournament. You better be sending us those army lists.
Yeah.
When did they have to submit our army lists?
It was 1 day before, at least.
Give it a week.
Give it a week before.
A week before.
We'll change that.
Yeah, give it a week before to send us your army list, because people turning up and being able to choose army based on what other people are playing isn't amazing. And I'm sure there are some people who do that.
I'm not playing, so there's no sort of benefit to me telling other people what your army list is, and I'm not going to be playing, so I can't tailor against you. So I just want to make sure that your armies are correct, that they are the right points, that they're legal, so it's fair for everyone, basically.
Yeah, and I won't be playing unless, of course, there is
the odd number.
An odd number.
You're the ringer.
At which point, would I just use a set army, or do I roll for it? I could have like a few armies, just roll for which one?
Just use one set army, so that it's fair against everyone.
Yeah.
You're playing against.
Cool.
Well, this is about Dreamlike Gaming's event and how good it was.
And it was a 500-point tournament. A great turnout. This is the second tournament of this season.
Yeah.
And 500 points, which is sort of a nice introductory points value.
Yes, yeah.
For most people, which is why we're doing 500 points as well. And we ran in lots and lots of players in there. Quite a confined-ish space.
Yes, yeah. It wasn't as spacious as the Northwest Gaming Centre, but they had enough tables for everyone. They had an upstairs and a downstairs, and you could tell that they had quite a few things going on. See, there was even Magic games and a big Apocalypse game going on at the same time. So it's nice to see that they weren't exclusive. They were getting everything in one place.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. It was nice to see some, that it was open to other gamers, even though that our tournament was going on. There was enough room to have people just walking in and playing games.
A huge Firestorm Armada battle board ready to go for intro games.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Have you ever played Firestorm Armada?
No. I see it. Just looking at it, I was thinking, it looks like X-Wing.
Yeah.
Or X-Wing looks like it. I think it came first, I think.
Yeah, it does a little bit. And then you've got kind of like the shop on the right-hand side, haven't you?
Yeah. They've
got like the store, so obviously Dreamlike Gaming is a store. It gives a very good discount.
Yes, yeah, it was tempting. Very tempting. I had more money on me. I had more Lord of the Rings and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the really tempting thing is the 20% off direct order.
Yes, yeah.
Which is, things that are direct order. Yeah, 20% off that, that's brilliant. So I would definitely recommend contacting Tom from Dreamlike Gaming.
Yeah, they have a website. They're building a website at the moment, but at the moment you can only order by giving them a call. So
yeah, to get on their Facebook group. We'll put the link up on this.
Yeah. Be in the description below.
Check out the link, go on the Facebook group, and then if you need some direct order stuff, it's definitely worth having a look. So yeah, and it was playing the scenarios as they are written in the book.
Yes. So you start with To the Death, then it's Domination, then it was Lords of Battle. No, then it's Whole Ground, then it's Lords of Battle, then it's Reconnoiter, and then it's Taken Hold. Not Taken Hold, High Ground.
High Ground, yeah. And it's played in an order. Now, out of interest, do you think that kind of, if you're playing through the scenarios 1 to 6,
the order of scenarios can have a huge impact on the way a tournament runs, because if you get, let's say something like Lords of Battle in the final round, if a hero force has done well and got there, they've pretty much won the tournament. It's how you view it. Similarly, if you've got Hold Ground or High Ground last, a large force like Hobbits, you expect they will instant win that scenario just from the sheer
reconnoiter.
Yeah. So the order of scenarios have a huge impact on the armies that people bring, because it's the way it's Swiss ranked, and we discussed this in the Q&A, that you play people of a similar level, and your first 2 games you can almost discount, and you can sort of rely on your skill as a player to win the games for you. And in the last 4 scenarios you need to plan your army for. That's how I've always thought it in my head, that you can win the first 2 regardless, and then you need to tailor your army for the last 4.
Yeah, that seems to make a lot of sense actually as a relatively new tournament dude. So yeah, we were playing through them. And what kind of, I mean, if you're playing them in order, do you think it's better if it's randomised, or do you think it's better if you're playing in order and you know what you're doing?
I think it's better if you know it in order and you know what you're doing. I'm not a huge fan of the random songs. If they're all getting played, it won't matter too much, I don't think. But if you're missing some out, then random can really sort of do you over, as it were.
Yeah, but if you're playing 6 games,
random order could be fine. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. That's really interesting. What kind of armies would it benefit playing? 1 to 6, if it, based on that theory that the first 2 games are going to be
high numbers are the big winners in the 6 scenarios. Big numbers wins.
Yeah. So
as a very loose, not including player skill rule.
Yeah, because you've got you to the death, like you say. If you're discounting your first 2, you to the death and domination.
Yeah. To the death, you can discount that one, because that's only a low scoring thing. Model count doesn't make a difference to it. And what's second one? Domination, again, model count helps, but it doesn't win you that scenario. You're left with reconnoiter, hold ground, high ground. All 3 of them, you gain victory points for having a model within a certain area, and having more models gets you more victory points, which should win you those scenarios.
So do you think it would actually almost be better to have that turned on its head, so something like to the death was the last?
I always like to the death being the last scenario, which is what it is in ours.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because
I always think that to the death requires pure skill, because you've got to commit but not commit too much. Whereas sort of like Lords of Battle, you just throw everything in basically. Okay. I think Lords of Battle has a lot of skill to it as well, knowing what risks to take, if any. Yeah. But I think they're all reasonably balanced, but some scenarios do benefit a big army.
Yeah, really interesting. So we had to play through them from start to finish, and we started off, there was like a brief from Tom, and I was very pleased. He had the boards were pretty balanced. There wasn't a ton of terrain.
Well, there were sort of like 5 pieces of terrain per board. 5
pieces of terrain per board, so there wasn't tons, but there was one board which was an absolutely stunning.
An amazing Goblin Town board. so much terrain, so many levels on it. It would be a dream to play on, a dream scenario board.
Yeah, if you don't have all cavalry Rohan.
Okay, pass me my drink.
Of course you can. If you don't have all cavalry Rohan, and I was very pleased that Tom had actually said, well, if you've got an all cavalry army, or an army that can't play in a monster army or something, bases don't fit, etc., then we've got another table set up, which was really considerate, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
I give it a round of applause and everything. And then the draw was made. And who did you draw in your first game?
I drew John McCree.
You drew John McCree.
With the full Hobbit force. We have the same scarf.
You have the same scarf.
Battle of the Scarf, seriously.
That scarf. Got the same scarf. John McCree, it was his first tournament. So let's give John McCree a round of applause. Well done.
Good job playing him.
Yeah, and bringing a Hobbit army as well.
Hobbit army. Keith sold Hobbit army.
Oh, was it Keith sold it too?
Keith also made sold his Hobbits. John McCree snapped them all up.
Yeah, don't blame me, John. What a gorgeous army. Looks great. Looks absolutely fantastic. And I, to the jeers of everyone, I drew against Ed Ball.
Dum 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 dum.
Dum dum dum. Everyone was like, oh, because everybody knew that I was bringing all cavalry Rohan.
Everyone assumed he was bringing his fell beasts.
Everybody assumed he was bringing his fell beasts.
That's what he said.
He did say he was bringing his fell beasts.
It was a double bluff.
You cheeky monkey, you. Good work. That's what strategy boards get down to.
So he brought his full Hobbit force.
So both of us played Hobbits in our first game, which was to the death. And yeah, I mean, you should see Damien's face when he turned around and was like, "You're going to get smashed by these fell beasts." And I was like, "He's brought hobbits," and he just looked across, and it was a real kind of why kind of moment. I think Ed had brought a few, and then chose hobbit. I'm sure.
Okay, right.
I think he had his fell beast with him. And I'd like to think he
yeah.
pulled his hobbits out because he wanted to be nice to me. Because Ed is a nice guy. He's a nice guy, and he gave me something.
He did, didn't he?
He gave me something.
I beat him! No, he's got to get it.
Ed Ball, a very generous guy. He looked at what I was looking for on the trade forums. He saw that I needed this. He said that this was surplus to his requirements because he's already got one and because it had like a flying cast fault. Ed Ball gave me Radagast on a sleigh.
Ooh.
Beautiful. And apparently it's because like one of the rabbit's ears is a little bit funny and one of the faces is a bit funny, but I can't tell. You can tell when we're doing the unboxings.
Rabbit's a rabbit.
We've got no idea whether the fine cast is good or bad, but he gave me that, and that was incredibly generous. I know you were trying to downplay it, Ed, but thank you so much. Thank you so much. So you played against John McCree in your first game.
Yep.
It's to the death. You get victory points for if there's a banner in your force. And I only learned that this tournament, it's not if you've got a model that counts as a banner, that doesn't give you victory points.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah. It has to be an actual physical banner.
I didn't realise this, so I was very worried because I thought Frodo of the Nine Fingers.
He counts as a banner.
He counts as a banner.
But Ed didn't take him though.
Oh, did he not take it? I couldn't remember. There's so many hobbits. You've got no idea what's there and what's not.
Frodo's a waste of points in a Hobbit army. So unless you want the extra warband, that's when you take him. He's like the last hero to be picked.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because he can't do it.
He can't charge, he can't strike. So he's literally a banner and might.
Mm. Yeah.
And defense 6. But no one takes him because he's so many points.
Yeah. Yeah. And you played against John McCree.
Yeah.
What did he... Well, first of all, we should talk about what you had in your army.
In my force, I had Legolas and Rumil, both with the exact same warband, a carbon copy. It was 3 Wood Elves with Elven Blade, 3 Wood Elves with Wood Elf Spear, 2 Guard with Ledron Courts, and 4 Wood Elves with Bow and Spear.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also took Garnbury Garn and 8 Roses Warriors, or Wildmen of the Druiden.
And not a force that you've taken to a tournament before?
No. The Roses got a showing because I thought I needed more models and I'd painted them up and I wanted to use them.
Mm.
I did model them with axes though later on. So yeah.
Why not? Why not? It's there in the rules.
Thing is, everyone's like, "Oh, that's disgusting." And I showed them the model. I was like, "Look, there it is." I actually might have one on me, but I might show you a picture of it. I might put it on top or something. Maybe I'm editing this.
Yeah,
I'll probably forget. But everyone's like, "Oh, that's filthy." And then I showed them. I was like, "But look! I modelled it like this." Yeah, actually, the majority of people went, "Actually, it looks like it belongs to the model. If you'd have just shown me that saying you hadn't stuck them on, no one would have thought any different." So, I told the truth.
It's like the Corsair Reavers.
Yeah.
They look good. They look the part. Why wouldn't they have an axe? A hand axe. You know what I mean? It's not like...
While the Druiden are from the forest, they work with wood. The best way to chop down wood is with an axe.
Yeah, absolutely right. And a different force from what you taken before, but like you say, you did that because you wanted the extra numbers.
Oh, the extra numbers, they've all got spears, they've all got blowpipes, they are like a medium range threat as well.
Yeah, and they've got other bonuses as well. Is that hate orc folk?
Hate orc folk, which allows you to get +1 to wound on goblins, orcs, and urukai.
And did that come into play in any of the games?
No.
No. Well, that's a shame, isn't it?
It was.
It would have been happening
really,
in my games.
Really wanted to use the +1 to go, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, and they've obviously got the poison blowpipe.
Yep, and they all count as wearing an elven cloak as well.
Yeah. And did that come into play at any point?
The elven cloak did very minorly against when I played another opponent later on, but not really.
Yeah, and that's down to your tactic. You didn't actually have them behind. You used them as...
I used them to sort of be in the way roll for my Wood Elves with bow, so that I could get, just keep my Wood Elves alive, basically.
Yeah.
So they're the game winners. The Roses were there to boost the numbers and be in the way.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. So you played against his Hobbit army into the death. I remember you get points for killing, wounding in general.
Yeah, 1 and 3. And then breaking is worth 3 and 5. And a banner, if you've both got 1, it's worth 1 point. If you've got 1 your opponent hasn't, it's worth 2.
So there you go. And his army of hobbits was a bit different to Ed's.
A little bit different. His was fully hobbits, and instead of taking sort of Malbeth and Freddy and individual, John had Farmer Maggots and more battling brandy bucks.
Yeah.
The strength 3 guys.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I said,
woohoo, strength 3!
Makes a huge difference though.
Yeah.
When my Wood Elves and Woes is on 4s rather than 5s, when they only get the sort of a few dice to wound, it makes a huge difference.
It does make a huge difference. And how did that game kind of play out? So you rolled your deployment and...
So the first turn, we thought we'd have a bit of a shooting war. I'm alright, I don't need a pillow. I'm alright.
My back's killing me. I've just been deadlifting like 120 kilo.
I had a bit of a shooting war, and I realised that very quickly I was going to lose this shooting war, so I need to get into combat.
That's the problem with the Hobbit. Well, the problem, that's one of the strengths, isn't it? 3+ shooting.
3+ shooting, and the fact they had their bows changed from a short bow, which was an 18-inch range bow, to a bow, which is a 24-inch range bow, scuppered my tactics a little bit with everything. So,
did you only learn that at the tournament, or did you know that from before?
I only realised it when I was playing against Ed later on. But yeah, so we started having this bit of a shooting war. Oh, he also had Floy and a bunch of Kazagar in his force, and that's what made up the difference between his and Ed's force.
Oh, yeah.
We had no spear supports, no banners, and his heroes weren't the strongest of heroes. So he had Floy. I would prefer to have had Balin. And yeah, so I got into combat, and my heroes, well, Rumil and Garnbury Garn, went a bit crazy, to be honest, and started killing 2 hobbits a turn. So very quickly I broke John, and then I got a bit cocky and started one dicing things with my Wood Elves, and he broke me. So I brought it back, and then in the last turn of the game, I threw some Gladwin Court onto Floy, who was his general. Yeah. Managed to get a wound on him. That won me the game.
So what was the score in the end?
It was 4-3 to me.
Ooh, you jammy boy.
Yeah.
That's really lucky. And that's just because you started getting a little bit cocky with the...
Got a bit cocky. Just realised it was 5-0. And I think I was about 7 models or so off, taking him down to 25%, and me, I still had a bit of a distance to go. Thought I'd start to actually try to fight these and get the game to end quicker. But then he broke me. I was like, oh no, uh-oh, it's gone wrong.
And I guess that strength 3
made the difference.
Made a difference. And did he have, is it the Shivers or is it the Hobbit Militia? You got a lot of them with like axes and stuff like that, so you could do a piercing strike. Did he use many of the...
It wasn't piercing striking, no.
It wasn't. Piercing strike next time. Definitely worth it.
Yeah, if you're lower fighting and you're that low defence anyway, then why not?
Yeah, why not? Go for it. It sounds like it was actually quite a close game.
Yes, it was, yeah. When it came down to it, it was.
Yeah, well done, John, because, you know...
There was a moment in the game, actually, that really sort of swung it back in my favour once I'd broken. Rolling for courage. So, rough priority, John wins. I win, sorry. John calls heroics with Banderbruss and with Farmer Maggot. Banderbruss courage test fails, runs off the board. Farmer Maggot runs off the board.
Oh.
And it's like... Yes. So then both his heroic moves disappeared, and I got to do my just regular movements. I was like, woohoo!
Lucky.
But
did he have Mary as well with the +1?
Yes, I think he'd already run away.
He'd already run away. Ouch.
Yeah, a couple of bad courage tests swung the game for him.
But it happens. It happens in the game, doesn't it? But well done, John, you know, because obviously Jamie went on to win the tournament, so it sounds like probably got it closer than a lot of people.
Yes, yeah.
So, so well done.
The closest of my victories.
Yeah, closest to your victories. Yeah.
Well
done, John. That's good going. And I had to play against Ed Ball, and Ed Ball's doing very well in the tournament. He's
yes.
Very, very good player. And we were playing to the death, of course, obviously. First scenario. And I was looking at it and I was thinking, right, okay, so from a bow point of view, the way that our board had a massive impact on this game. We had like a big kind of rocky outcrop, and it was big in the middle of the board. But then there wasn't a lot of terrain elsewhere. So there was nothing that gave any cover. There was like some bits of corners of houses, but you could still see the models. So he deployed, and I deployed, and I was thinking, right, okay, well, usually in this situation, when someone's got bow superiority, so you saw me do it when we played.
Mm-hmm. You hang back and shoot.
Yeah, you try and pick where you're shooting on the line.
Yeah.
So like in our game, for example, you had Legolas and your Wood Elves on the right. So I put some things that were around the area so that you were aware of them, but then everything else that could shoot went to the other end of the line.
Yeah.
Shoot there, so you had to bring your archers over, and at that point, I charge in.
You can go forwards, yeah.
And I charge in when you lose that. That's what I would normally do. But Ed was using his movement to, nothing wrong with this, of course, he made like a tortoiseshell kind of formation, where the way that his lines were sort of crescented and his bowman was sort of crescented on the corner meant that I couldn't get in range to shoot anything of his without his bowman being able to outshoot me.
Yeah.
So I've got 10 bows, but he's a Hobbit army, he's got loads.
I think he had 20 or 19 bows.
Yeah, so he's got around 20 bow shots, and they're all at 3+. Now only 4 of mine are at 3+. I'm thinking, well, I'm going to get outshot. He made that decision to sort of, charge across the open ground. I did the maths, and was like, no. And we ended up in a situation, a lot of players were ribbing us for it, actually, where there was a couple of turns and neither of us moved, because he was never ever going to come out of that situation, out of that corner. Because
it's beneficial for him.
Beneficial for him. Why would he come out of that situation? Yeah. There's no point. If he comes out, then he hands me the advantage.
It's what he was calling a negative equity move, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where if he's going to do something that gives you the advantage, well, that doesn't make any sense from a tactical point of view.
And it was exactly the same from my point of view. If I move in, then I'm giving him the advantage. And we had it. I mean, we went and explained it to Tom. I mean, we didn't have to really. We didn't have to go and explain it to Tom. But I guess we just wanted to have a second opinion on our situation, which was it didn't benefit either of us moving. And as it got towards the end, I mean, what we should have done really at that point is kind of said, right, both of us aren't going to. Should we just play and have a mess around? Because it is playing around. But we didn't. And I then sort of said, well, I'm now going to show you why I'm not going to engage in this game. And I moved up some of my bow shots, which allowed him to sort of take a couple of my guys down because he's got more bows. And I sent out the minimum number of models
to not break
and hand the victory to Ed. And before I'd hit his lines, all of my guys were off their horses, and 3 out of the 6 of them were dead. No, 4 out of the 6 of them were dead.
Yeah. Ed seems to have some crazy role in it as well, though.
His dice.
It's a huge dice. I don't really roll. I go boom.
Diamonds, yeah. Boom. But yeah, it was a really weird game, and yeah, I'm glad that I kind of did that at the end. Although I wish we'd have kind of shaken for it first and just gone, right, should we just go run at each other for some fun. But that meant that my first game ended with a draw. Yeah. And it was a draw. So that was both of us to the death. So Jamie had notched up a win, and I'd got a draw, which meant that we moved into the next scenario, which was
domination.
Domination. Now, domination is the one where you've got
5 points on the board. Each one's worth 3 VPs if you've got it and your opponent hasn't. It's worth 1 if you've got more models than your opponent, and then breaking and general conditions as normal.
As normal.
And I drew Ed Ball.
You drew Ed Ball. And you would have drawn Ed Ball because you would have had sort of the lowest.
I'd have won, but because I only got 4, I'd have had the lowest of the victory points.
So you played Ed, and you could have played me.
I could have played you. You just random. I assume they must have rolled to see who was going to go high or lower.
Yeah. You'd have a tough time in each, wouldn't you?
Probably tougher against Ed.
Yeah. Tough time in each, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did that. Domination's good for my force. Because I played Hobbits.
Yeah.
So both of us
just swapped opponents, basically.
We both swapped opponents. So then I got John McCree. And
he seems to be the loser with the highest.
Yeah. Loser with the highest, yeah. So both of us played Hobbits for a second time, which is interesting because they're different forces.
And this time, I lost.
So what happened in your domination game? Where did the objectives end?
So objectives pretty much in your sort of 5 on a dice, sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very simple. Yeah, I wasn't going to win the shooting war versus Ed either, even though I had with the blowpipes more bows than him or shots than him. Once we got sort of that close for me to be in blowpipe range, all he'd have to do is move forwards 1 turn, and then he'd be in throwing stone range. And they were me on 5s with throwing stones, and that's never going to work well for me.
No.
So I was in this really horrible situation. I also, in this game, I forgot that Hobbit bows were 24-inch range. And so set my sort of elves up 21 inches away, so that if he moved back to try and get out, I could still move 3 forwards and be in range to shoot against his 18-inch range bows. And if he moved forwards 2 inches, I could move back 3, still be out of his range and be in mine. However, then when he stretched it out 24 inches, my third plan was scuppered. And he was able to shoot the models I had ready to run into the wood to claim an objective. But my God, the Belgian Corps with the high courage to claim an objective. And he shot them both down and started just shooting my mind. So I decided to just retreat and avoided shooting for the entire game. We did this weird little just dance around a hill, getting shots off of each other every now and then. And his weighted numbers just won it for him, basically.
Yeah, because he could get all the objectives.
Yeah, all but one objective. I kept more than one.
You got one.
So Ed did win that game. Very well played by Ed. Again, he just knows how to play his hobbits, basically. I think my mistake was trying to shoot and not running straight into combat, because he had his 4 sort of in a nice little line across the board, essentially. I think if I'd have hit all at one point, I could have easily got that and then you've seen where the game went after.
Yeah.
But that's how it goes.
Yeah, and that's what these tournaments are for. You know, we learned, don't we?
Yeah.
So we both learned a lot from this tournament.
Heroic march and then just a charge would have done better than trying to shoot.
Trying to shoot that. It's about 3+, and there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
Because a third of his army with bows is going to be more than what a lot of people have got.
It take with the third.
Well, this is the thing. With his, he almost had as many models that could shoot that I had models in total.
Yeah. Well, my worry about running forwards 9 inches and then trying to get the charge was that if I move forwards 9, every one of his models could then shoot me. I was like, I don't really want to take sort of 40 throwing weapons in turn 2.
Yeah.
And then go in whittled.
The same kind of predicament as me, really.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of in that, well, do you go for it and get in there, but then you know that your army is going to get whittled down massively. You could probably absorb it a lot better than I could.
All my guys defense 3 are all getting wounded on 5s, hitting on 3s.
That's true. Is it strength 1 the throwing stuff?
Strength 1, yeah. So
still
just after 6s to wound.
Yeah, that's true.
So I lost that game, unfortunately, but potentially not unfortunately, because I got, I'd say, an easier run of games to come from that.
Yeah, and that's one of Thomas Harrison's theories, isn't it?
You want to lose your first or second game, really.
That's interesting. Well, in fact, yeah. I mean,
if there's one to lose your first or second.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that from my point.
Yeah.
Look what happened to me. I did all right on the first 2. I went up against John McCree, and again domination. And he had his Khazad and his Floy. And I was looking at, and I did fancy my chances, actually. And I fancy my chances because he's got very small movement. If he tried to dominate more than 2 objectives, I can get all of my weight and numbers onto
one of those ones, yeah.
And that's why I started off. I actually had sort of like a bow line with Erkenbrand with the 4 outriders, 2 Westfold red shields that could sort of fire onto the central objective. All right now. Yeah. So yeah, I fancy my chances because I started off on one objective, and when I was doing my placement of objectives, I was trying to get them as far away from each other as possible. Yeah. Because, you know, it's going to be harder for them. And I started on one, you had one in the middle, one, it wasn't quite the sort of 5 on the dice. Yeah. I had one of them sort of round by a rock. Yeah. And he kind of set off Farmer Maggot and sort of one lot here, and then a lot in his kind of centre, and Floyd and everything back. And because Farmer Maggot was immediately isolated, that was it. Sons of Ale. Boom! In there with Eowyn, smashing stuff up, killing stuff, and chopped through them reasonably quickly. By the time that he'd come to react, Ale counter-attacked that in the middle. I'd already started to send some of Erkenbrand's lot to take the next objective. Yeah. He started trying to move his Khazad guard back around to kind of defend against this kind of right flank channel that I got through. There was one amazing moment in the game where after I'd crushed his right flank, he had, it was Merry or Pippin on the pony, surrounded by 3 or 4 I think 3 Sons of Ale, all piercing striking, 2 Royal Guard, and Eowyn. He was out of might, so he couldn't heroic strike or anything.
I can see where this is going.
Eowyn had 1 point of might, so she could have bumped up her dice rolls. Yeah. Rolled all them dice. Okay, got that 4 highest. Yeah. But Eowyn got that 1 and a 2. And he rolled a 6. and he killed Aowen. Killed Aowen. It was an amazing
Oh,
moment.
embarrassing.
It was very, very embarrassing, but it was awesome. It was awesome. It looked great. It looked fantastic. I was gutted, but yeah, that was a pretty strong victory for me. I have to say. I mean, you were saying that the Hobbit army quite difficult to play on domination with how many numbers, but I found that in my game, and it's probably the composition of forces.
Yeah, so you got the sort of you move 3 times as fast as them with some of you guys.
3 times as fast, and I can bring a lot onto those separated clumps. Yeah. So
third game.
Yeah, third game. So that was so you had a win and a loss.
You had a win and a draw.
A win and a draw.
So you were higher than me at this point. I was about to cry, to be honest. You were beating me.
Well, you had nothing to worry about.
No, I didn't.
Because as a result of a win and a lot, and because I had quite a lot of victory points for John McQueen's a lovely dude as well.
Unfortunately, he was sick, wasn't he? Well, he was ill.
Yeah.
I couldn't come to the second day, so we had to miss that.
Yeah, and it was a shame. If I'd have played him on the second day, I might have voted him for sort of best opponent maybe, because he was really sort of cheerful and just a really nice guy.
Learn, sort of.
Yeah, definitely. So you played on your third game.
I played Billy. I don't remember his second name, unfortunately, but he had a full army of dead force, led by Forlong and a Knight of Delamroth. A Captain of Delamroth, painted up in a ghostly scheme.
Mm-hmm.
So to be like sort of like heroes of the dead, basically.
And what was his results before? Had he won and lost one?
I don't know, unfortunately. But it was hold ground, so the met from a battle entrance, and he rolled, I think, a 3 and a 2, so I got to pick his warbands on the north and south and one on the east and west and put them on the separate things. I rolled a 3 and a 4, and Rummel and Legolas both used a point of might to make them into 2 4s, so I got to place everything on one board edge.
Which is incredibly important
in this
scenario.
Yeah, so to begin with, it was sort of my army versus half of Billy's, and Legolas managed to, even with using the FAQ that you got to randomise what you hit, he didn't hit the horse. I was gutted, and I rolled 6 on the guy. I wounded him, the captain. Next turn, same again with point of might this time, killed him outright.
Ouch.
The first 2 turns, that might from that warband's gone, so I sort of jumped on that one, but not too much because I didn't want to get involved in a fight there, break him, and have his other warband on it. Which is the worry that you can have on a random game ending.
Yes. Which we will talk about.
Forlong was his general, and I literally just put heroes into him in combat and was able to take him down. And actually, the game eventually then broke the Warriors of the Dead using the axes from the Woses to piercing strike to try and get a bit of a bonus.
Which you might as well do because there's no consequence because they strike your courage.
You strike your courage, so your defense doesn't actually drop relatively. I actually took him off the table by the end of the game, and the fight happened so close around the centre that I actually had the rest of my army in there, and I won the game 31-0. So big win and big victory points.
Big win, big victory points. And probably made up for the lack of in domination.
Yes,
yeah, massively.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big win.
Yeah.
And this was Billy's first tournament.
It was, yes.
I've met Billy before at JT's opening.
Oh, okay, so he's from...
I think he's from up that way.
Okay.
I think he is, anyway. Let us know, Billy. But he was at Awkward Battles opening.
Okay.
And so I've met him before. Nice lad. And he won Best Sportsman. So congratulations on your first tournament. And I finally got my Best Sportsman for my first tournament. Charles gave it to me.
Really?
I made up. He said he's got me a coaster as well. That says, yeah, I've got like a coaster as well, apparently. And I can buy a mug for £4 that's got it on as well. But I was like, no, I'll have the coaster for free. So on my third game, I was actually not on top table, but second to top table. I was playing with the big boys.
Who are you against?
Owen Wright.
Mr. Wright.
Mr. Wright. Okay, I love this guy.
Yeah. I actually stayed at Owen's house on Saturday night. It was so nice. I was expecting to be on like a couch or something, but he had 3 beds made up for the people who were staying. I was like,
nice.
Beds!
This is more than I could ever have hoped for. Yeah. I'll tell you about mine.
In the morning, he cooked his bacon and eggs on bar.
That's really nice.
Got up especially early, went to Tesco to buy the bacon because he didn't have any in.
Owen, you are a legend. I love Owen. I think
and Charles brought some eggs from his farm. And
that's good.
They were like so like 2 days old, and the yolks were the most golden, most beautiful tasting things I've ever had.
You can tell the difference.
You massive. Can. It is the colour is so vibrant. I was like,
it's like I eat so many eggs like a week. I have 4 eggs a day, just so that you guys know.
It's Gaston.
Gaston, my water guy. Oh, Gaston. Yeah, I know the words to that song. Yeah. When I was a lad, I had 4 dozen eggs
every morning
to help me go strong.
But now that I'm grown, I eat 5 dozen eggs.
So I'm roughly the size of a barge! Yeah. I can't believe we've just done this on camera.
With the eggs.
So I have 4 eggs a day, and I would love to be able to afford to have, like, really, because the nutritional difference is massive between having an organic egg and a regular. Yeah. And you can tell by the colour of the yolk, and the taste is massive. Like, I get like 60 eggs. I can eat 60 eggs. What's the movie reference? Cool Hand Luke. What a movie! Cool Hand Luke is a great movie. If you've not watched it, get on it. But I can't afford to get that number of organic eggs. You just can't afford it. So I have to get them from Costco. The difference is massive. So Charles, you want to sell me some eggs? It's cool. Cheap. Please.
Cheap, cheap.
Cheap. That was terrible. I liked it. Yeah, Owen's a really, really good guy, and he's a very good player, I think. Yes, I think he's a very good player. And what he brought was, he brought a King's Champion, and that King's Champion had some Khazad Guard, I believe. Do you have any Iron Guard in there? I can't remember. Lucky. Hard game. He had Dwalin on Pony. Who's nails, and lots of warriors of Erebor, with spears as well. And then he had Alfred and lots of cheap late town spears.
Yeah.
And this was the first time I've come up against Alfred. Okay, there was quite a few people with him in the tournament.
Yeah, so 3 Alfreds.
3 Alfreds.
1 Alfred and Bomber.
Okay, and it was in this scenario that you could really see the benefit of having an Alfred. Because with the Maelstrom battle is really annoying, obviously, because it adds some random elements to the game. But both of you have got it, but at the same time,
it can swing the game, like in my game.
Yeah, it can massively make. Well, look at the game that we've got, the battle report against Steve,
where my force is across the table.
Yeah, and you can use everything. From the start, you are at a massive disadvantage. And in that game, he would have appeared at different points, which I would have been quite happy about, because I've got all cavalry, so maybe you can isolate one area and then sort of come back. Maybe. But he was able to use his might freely. He basically used the might that he needed to make sure he all appeared in one place, which is the strength of his army. Now, he was saying to me before this game, you should win. You've got this. You should win this. And I think that his idea behind that, I don't think it was just a mind game, although it might have been, but was that I can get to the objective first.
Yeah, it's always beneficial to fight back over the objective than fighting onto the objective.
But I think the problem with this, though, is the random game ending combined with that. So he started all together, and he did a heroic march, and I kind of started 2 war bands on the opposite board edge to him, and then 1 on the side, which kind of come in on his flank. And I've not talked about why I took for this tournament. My 500-point cavalry list was almost the same as what you guys have seen on the videos. So you've got like 5 Sons of Ale, you've got 3 Royal Guard, you've got 6 Westfold Red Shields, and you've got 4 Outriders. But instead of the Knight of the Pelennor and Erkenbrand combination, which you usually use, I divided it down into 3 war bands instead.
Yes.
And took Ale the Young.
Good hero.
Very good hero.
1 might.
Yeah, he's got that 3 might, and
you can maybe get the 3 one.
Yeah, you kind of get one game.
1.5, but when playing him, the tip should be never expect to get 3 might. Just play as if you're using might. If you get a 3 one, it's a bonus. Yeah, because on average you kind of get 1, and you worked out 1.5. It kind of worked out at 1 per game throughout the game. I think I might have had 1 game where I got 2, which was the counteract.
And then I also took Eowyn, and the idea behind this was that that's small points cost on that type of army. You need more might, and you've got an extra hero in there, and maybe Knight of the Pelennor is a big chunk. I mean, what did you think about that as a change? Do you think it made sense?
I think it made sense, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think those 3 heroes are all decent enough on their own. They're all fight 5, which is good. You don't want the fight 4 ones, and they've all got a good might store and can all hold their own. However, in retrospect, potentially, like seeing what the forces that were there, having Knight in the Pelennor, so there were no ring race or anything, so he would just be free to 3 attacks, 4 on the charge, and just go into anything.
I suffered at the tournament for not having Knight of the Pelennor.
Big hero.
Yeah, not having a big hero, because in this game against Owen, he heroic marched up, which is great. I kind of went out to meet him, and he made a comment partway through. Oh no, I think he made it at the end. He said, there was that point where you charged me, but you kept other things back in certain areas. He said, I could tell that you're a player that knows how to play cavalry, because you were basically
just weren't just doing that.
No, you were basing your strategy on having to counter if I have to heroic move or if I counter charge you, which is what you have to do as a cavalry player. But the issue was when he got the charge, didn't really kill enough.
Missed that. Strength 5.
I went through his Khazad guard like anything.
Like
butter. It was crazy. Went through his Khazad guard really easy, but didn't really kill enough in the right places.
Yeah.
It would have been better for me to kill the things in the middle.
Yeah.
But I was killing things around the flank.
Like the peripherals, yeah.
And what happened was Dwalin on pony, effectively, just through the middle.
Yeah.
He was a beast, and the issue with this army, in retrospect, was that I didn't have anything that could really come up against it, that could hold its own against it.
Nothing's fight 6 anyway, but there's nothing that's got the 3 wounds and 3 fate that can withstand that barrage of attacks.
What could I do against that reckless power? Because he just went through the middle. Because he went through the middle, although I was able to counter and sort of come in, and there was a lot of killing, and to be fair, it was a really close game until the last turn. But because he could come through the middle, which is kind of what he did, it meant that he was able to kind of be closer to the objective.
Yeah, I remember watching this game now.
Yeah. So he kind of came through the middle, which meant that he was close to the objective, which meant that when he won priority in what turned out to be the final turn, he was able to make sure he was where he needed to be. I couldn't really get the charges off, so all of a sudden I wasn't on the objective.
Yeah. He even sacrificed some of his shield bearers to go and tie people up at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Like the game's going to end soon, so.
And I think in the last turn of the game, I think I lost 6 models in the last turn.
Yeah,
so it made a big swing. Yeah. Everything that was in and around just crumpled. So it was a big swing, a great game. Yeah. I loved it. But it did show the frailties of my force. Yeah. Needing to have
more models, just more staying power.
Yeah, no staying power. Because what do you do? I mean, we'll have a tactical discussion ourselves sometime, but and I've posted it on the One Ring as well. What do you do as a cavalry army at whole ground, especially if someone appears together? Yeah, you'll get to the objective first, because it's a random game ending. You can't even rely to die to win.
Yeah, I would say that the thing to do is try and break yourself and have people there before they can get it. So like hit them before they're anywhere near the middle. But
take some practice.
It's easier said than done. I know obviously the game could then continue, because it's only a one-off game, it could continue for like 10 turns. He just walked into the middle.
Yeah. Ouch. That's all I'm going to say. That last turn was not good for moi. But that was the third game.
And that was day 1 done.
That was day 1 done.
So I finished on 2 wins and a loss, and you finished on a win, a draw, and a loss.
Win, draw, and a loss. So just across the board, like so. At that point, we had a little bit of time, because it was a nicely timed day. I think three games.
It's quite nice, yeah. I mean, we'll finish a little bit later than that. Our first day will finish about 6 o'clock, because we got the 4 games on the first day.
Yeah, we want to get our money's worth, because it costs a reasonable amount to have the place. Yeah. But yeah, we three games was nice. It did mean that there was some time at the end, and some people started to have to go to the next thing.
Some people played that thing. You played another game against Damien, and I got some Middle-earth Deadliest Warband recorders.
You got some Middle-earth Deadliest Warband. So Jamie, obviously we won't give any spoilers, but thanks to Sam's page.
Yep, Sam Page. You managed to provide the models for 2 of the forces, and David Reed provided the 3rd.
Yeah. So this is Southern Dunedain from the forums. Yeah. So thank you so much. Although I was devastated not to be in Deadliest Warbands. It is your baby, really, isn't it? Deadliest Warbands. And of course, you are trying to oust me from this channel, however you possibly can.
Anything and everyone.
I played against Damien. Now, Damien is the first person, I think, ever to bring the Bomber and Alfred combination.
Yes.
And he brought in like new Hobbit heroes, didn't he? What did he have?
He had Tariel, Thorin, Dory, Dwalin, Alfred and Bomber. It was 6.
and he said, what would you like to play? Would you like to play Lords of Battle, or what was the other one that he suggested? To the death or Lords of Battle? Probably, yeah. I think he said to the death or Lords of Battle. We've got an hour to play. And he was laughing at me because my face when he said we've got an hour to play this game, I was like, an hour?
That's like set up for you, isn't it?
Did you? Well, did you notice that on at the end of most games, I was the last person playing?
Yes. So how do you do it? Oh, this game's still going.
I needed the time on most of my games, but I'm quite a new player, and nobody sort of smashed me off the table at any point, so I was quite lucky in that respect. So I played against Damien at Lords of Battle, which was, again, it's a good scenario for my force.
Yeah.
Good scenario for my force, but
it's better for his force.
You would think so. Yes. You would think so. I did manage to snipe out Alfred.
Had he given anyone?
Yep. He'd given 2 rounds of mine. I think he had a D3 that he got to give some. I think so.
But I think he rolled a 1 for dwelling.
Yeah.
So we all watched like,
Yeah. Something like that. So anyway, he kind of came to one sort of part of the board. Again, he mocked me because when he got into kind of range, I kind of moved back my shooting. But that was so that I could get my encircling, which is what you got to do, cavalry in that situation, get into position. And then we had a scrap, and I have to say, poor Damien,
everything died.
he had 3 rounds of horrendous rolling, but there was one round in particular where kind of like. I think he'd actually charged on some of mine. I had counter-charged, obviously, as you do as a cavalry player. Yeah. But he had 2 heroic combats. He had Dwalin against a Westfold Red Shield.
Yeah.
He had Thorin on Pony versus an Outrider. They should smash them all day long. Okay, so anyway, he wins that. He wins the fight. He goes back. 1, 1 and a 2. 1, 1 and a 2 for both. I was like, come on! Come on, Rohan! We'd also had some heroic strikes being called as well. In fact, it was this game where A was getting lots of might back.
Oh, alright.
I think it might have been this game.
It doesn't matter.
Anyway, it didn't matter as much. Damn it! and yeah, I called heroic strike with Ale. This was the game where I got it two, maybe even 3 times. Two times anyway. It was a heroic strike off, and on Bomber. So I charged in Bomber. No, I didn't have any heroes in on this one, I don't think. So he called a heroic strike because he's fight 3.
Yeah.
My Sons of Ale fight 4. And he rolled a 1, lost the roll off, and got slaughtered like the piggy that he is. That's right.
Although he does have 2 attacks.
He does, but yeah.
Damien was adamant he had 1, despite him having the rulers in front of him that he typed out.
Yeah, Damien's got like these cracking sheets, hasn't he? Like these laminated sheets. I've got to do that. That's brilliant. It can wipe off and stuff, but yeah, he wasn't giving it. Wasn't giving him 2 attacks, and then heroic strike and Toriel and another dwarf. I think again he went up to fight 8 and I went up to fight 9. Yeah. And got slaughtered, and it was something like 34, 35, 36 to 4.
Yeah,
something. It was a real smashing. But unfortunately, not part of the tournament. Unfortunately, but he's a great guy.
Yeah,
what a top dude, and I'm going to be filming scenarios with him this week. So before we go on about the evening, I think what we should do is stop this video just in case we have any problems, and we'll film. So we then went into the evening of entertainment.
Evening activities.
Woohoo! And it was organised by
Owen Wright, I believe it was.
Owen Wright. Yeah, Owen Wright organised this, and this is the best thing.
Yeah, this is where the tournament sort of. It's not even the tournament. It's just eating and drinking with friends, basically.
Yeah,
lots of friends,
and you meet some top people. So got to catch up with guys I've met before. Like Tom Harrison's and Damien's and Ed Ball's,
Sammy Jeffrey, people like that.
Yeah, the Scottish lads as well, David Reed and Chris Murphy. Got to meet them. Thomas Macklin, one of our first day subscribers, attending his first tournament. He was there. Alistair, Kieran.
Alistair was there, yeah. Kieran. No, everyone was there, wasn't they?
Yeah.
The other 1 or 2 had to go home to cook dinner or...
Most people were there. Yeah. And we went into this curry house and...
went into the Mint.
Yeah, the mint, yeah. And it was great. It was
a bit of an issue at the end, really, tried to not give us our ice cream, then asked us to get up and leave to get our ice cream on the way out. And we're like, oh, we just want to pay for the ice cream. Actually, no, you can sit back down, we'll get you your ice cream.
That was a disgrace.
You're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, you don't move people when they're still eating. Because you guys had all got sort of set menu. I think I got coffee for free, you know.
We all got set menus, yeah.
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I had to be different.
It's always one.
Yeah, I had to be different. I wanted some grilled meat and salad, you know. I don't think many of you guys were having grilled meat and salad. You know, nothing wrong with that at all.
Curry and beer.
Curry and beer. And I was a bit gutted, actually.
You were driving, weren't you?
I was driving, yeah. I had a beer with you.
Yeah.
Early on before we ate, and obviously had a long period of time. But I think next time, I would love us all to find out, like, where the majority of people are staying and
go there. And
we're gonna, because we ended up afterwards. We had a little bit of a wander around Mansfield trying to find somewhere to go.
Went into some of the dodgiest bars. There was that little, like, not even a rock bar. It was just like it felt like it was a gang, like a gang run bar. It was just like
we opened the door and
it's like people just pint goes down. 16 of us walk in, they're just staring at you.
You ain't from around these parts, are you?
Well, it was like that. It wasn't the Wild West.
It felt like the Wild West. The Wild West of Mansfield. Yeah. It was. A lot of people, I don't want to offend anybody from Mansfield, but, you know.
You wouldn't like to get in a fight around there, would you?
I wouldn't mind, to be honest.
Yeah, and I knew you were
Come on in.
Come up, Squire.
I was a bit worried because I was still in my tracky bottoms. I'd forgotten because I'd been driving.
Think that you might not get anywhere, but maybe you've been dressed up for Mansfield.
Oh,
shots fired!
I actually had some jeans in the back of the back of the car. But we abandoned Mansfield to go back to this B&B where most people were staying. And whose car were you in? You were in Owen's car.
Yes. Yeah.
So you missed out on the hilarity that ensued. I was there and. Parked up, had to reverse out. This little sort of mint car park. Seen Charles reversing out in his big muscle car.
Big Dodge.
His big Dodge muscle car. Alright? Reverses out, reversing. I'm like, oh my god, he's going to hit us. He's going to hit us. He's going to hit us. Going to hit us. Boom. Doesn't hit us. Nudged. He didn't smash into it. He just kind of nudged the car, but it looked worse than what it was because we were looking over our shoulder and we just seen like the air freshener in the front of the other car just started. It was like, whoa, what's he done? And of course, he drove off. So he went round and he drove off. No, we didn't realise he didn't have the directions and the sat nav to get there.
It just bolted.
He was Owen. Bolted. I think we were trying.
I think you were meant to be following us. I was like, is that them? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you'd done that before as well when we were trying to get to the mint in the first place, but we actually kept up with you somehow. But when we were leaving here, luckily, I think Sam Page had the postcode. So we were driving up and everything. Didn't realise that Charles was following us. He's there right on our tail. And we made a turn in, and Sam was like, I think this is the wrong turning. So, right, okay. So drove up and then turned my car like literally on a penny. It was just like. And as we turned round, you could just see Charles like coming up behind, and his face was and I believe he like proper did over his exhaust when he
probably
curbed it and
both wheels up over the curb.
Yeah, but he's got like big long car. It's not like mine where I can just go. He kind of it's like 20-point turn to get round. But yeah, we went there and it was a great night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Really good night.
Just sitting around drinking, talking about old Games Workshop systems, and just chatting, shooting the S.
If you've not been to a tournament, part of the UK tournaments, even if you're from coming over from abroad, just come and get involved.
Come on the nights out. Don't go back to your hotel room. Just go have a pint.
Yeah, don't try and stay in the same place as everyone. We've definitely got to make that a thing now. We try and stay in the same hotel as everybody else. We organise it on the event pages and we do that because it was
just raid the bar.
It was fantastic.
It was like a wedding or anniversary something going on. We're like, hey, war gamers, get out of our hall.
Yeah, I was a bit because I was drinking coffee at this point.
Diet coffee.
Drinking coffee, and then afterwards, I would like to say a big, massive thank you to Josh Meads. Yeah. What a legend! Now, this guy I've not met him before, but you know him.
Yeah.
You know. He's a lovely guy. He'd been to the tournament on the first day and he was going on the second day as well. and he'd actually, because is it Daniel Entwistle?
Daniel, yeah.
He
offered out his house to you, didn't he? But then his parents were like, "Oh, actually, we've got friends coming over for this weekend. You can't have people over."
Which is fair enough. Yeah. But that meant that there was like this moment where I kind of went on a festival. Yeah, has anyone got somewhere I can stay? I should have got into that B&B. I think that would have been well better. Yeah, definitely going to do that in the future. But he let me stay over. Now, to give you an idea of the kind of person that Josh Meads is, to give you a bit of an idea, he's the kind of guy, so he showed me, we got in there, we had a chat, we talked about Family Guy and toy soldiers and other things. He showed me up to where I was going to be staying, and there was a bed and I had a duvet, and he said, I know that you're tall, so here's a sleeping bag just in case, you're coming out. Feet poking out, and here's the radiator at the end of the bed because this room can get quite cold. So the house can get quite cold. So you can turn it up if you need to. I'm up early in the morning at 6 anyway because I do it every day. Have a good night's sleep. I've got sausages and egg sandwiches in the morning. Okay, right. I wake up in the morning. Get my kit on and everything. Go downstairs. Josh Meads is the kind of guy. I didn't even realise. I thought this was a spare bedroom. That was his bed. He'd been on the couch on blankets while he'd left me a reserved sleeping bag. Yeah. What a lovely dude. I was like, you didn't have to do that. I'd have crashed on the couch. Not a problem. Like with the sleeping bag. Yeah. I would have crashed on the couch. It would have been brilliant. What a lovely dude. He's the kind of guy that will cook his sausage sandwich. He'll make his. He'll put mine in. He'll take a bite into his. Realise that he's undercooked his own sausages. And then say, I don't want any breakfast. You have yours. Of course. Because he's that kind of guy, I turned around and said, mate, we can share that. We can share those 2 sausages. Not a problem. We've got an egg as well. What a lovely dude. Thank you very much, Josh Meads. You are a star. Second day starts. Here we go. Yeah. This was the run-in.
So, first thing woke up. No hangover.
Yes. You did well there because you were pretty trolleyed.
Yeah. Phew! That was like the first victory of the day.
You were very nice drunk, I think.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. You weren't horrible. You weren't like over the top drunk. Yeah. You were nice.
Oh, good. Phew. That's nice to hear. So, game 1. What scenario was it?
Lords of Battle.
Lords of Battle. Oh, this is the game I was dreading the entire night. We worked out that I was going to be playing against Charles Sims. He had 17 watches of Karna with Poe. Lots of Courageous Spearmen, Sharin, 2 Corsair captains with shield, and some what they call Serpent Guard with spear. Yeah, can you smell the camembert coming off his army?
Camembert.
So Lords of Battle, he's got 17 bows, I've got 11 shots, 8 bows plus Legolas, and then the 9 Roji blowpipes. And I was thinking, he's going to really outshoot me. He's hitting on 3s because they're watchers, another 3 plus shooting army. It's a pain to play against. He wounds me on 5s and he's re-rolling 1s to wounds due to poison. I'm thinking, well, I hit him on 3s and wound him on 5s, but I ain't got the re-roll and he's got more bows, so he could easily outshoot me. And what I endeavoured to do in this game is, we set up reasonably close so we could shoot each other, and then one force was going to charge in when it didn't go their way. In his force, he had 5 might, 2 from the 2 captains, and 1 from the Hasharin. And I had 9, so I was like, well, Garnbury Garn's going to be calling heroic shoots to make sure I shoot first to try and whittle down his bows so I can get the most fire possible.
Good call, because you don't see that often.
No, but this is one of those rare occasions where a heroic shoot is worthwhile.
Yeah.
When you've got a shooting war going on.
You're a genius. You're a genius. You're absolutely right, because we slaughtered.
heroic shooting.
We slaughtered it when we were discussing it. But yeah. Good call.
This is one of those few times, I think we actually did discuss that sometimes it can be worthwhile.
Yeah.
But, so I think lost 3 out of 4 roll-offs anyway, the heroic shoot. But,
he's got no might then.
Yes, it's the thing. He's only got 1 on Hashari, and I've still got 4 left. So that's where the other bonus comes in for it. Wily fucks.
Wily, I love it.
Yeah.
So this is what I get to play with every week. It's awesome.
Shooting wise, my bowmen were behind a rank of Wood Elves with Roses in the front rank, so they could be in the way.
You've got a barrier as well, which helps.
Yeah.
I'm guessing his...
He set his watchers up in front to begin with, because if I charged in, he didn't want me fighting his spearmen.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So he left them out in the front for 3 turns until he realised it was going to be a full-on shooting war. But by this point, I think he'd lost about 9 of his watches, and I'd only lost, I think, 4 of my ranged units in return.
That's very good.
So when he put them on the back rank, I was happy then to just sit there and shoot through, because I knew I was going to kill some supports, but I was also killing regular guys. I think I burned 2 might with Legolas, who is part of my 4 remaining.
Yeah.
3 hits, 2 get through on the front guy, doesn't kill him, 2 4s, so 2 points of might, and kill off 2 more bows.
Yeah.
Which is worth it.
Worth it, yeah.
But
Actually, that kind of battle.
In Lords of Battle, each wound is for victory points. I was like, well, there's 2 victory points for 2 might points. I'm happy to swap them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he charged in, and I had my weight of numbers and higher fight, just swarmed him basically.
Yeah, that's a really good victory.
It was a very strong victory. Yeah, I think it ended up being about 37. He broke me in the end, so I think it was about 37-20. But it was another big VP win for me.
There's a fantastic picture that Sam Page took on
Of
his
the final
turn.
turn.
I came over and looked at that.
Yeah.
I was very impressed.
So was I.
So, yeah. That must have been your hardest fought victory.
Hardest fought victory of the entire tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been the one where you were like, right, I need to really...
A game, bring the A game.
Yeah, well done, man. Because that's good going. Because we were saying, don't want to come up against that.
No.
We didn't want to come up against that or its hobbits, really.
Yeah. Not in the last 3 games, but draw it and managed to beat it. So thank goodness that happened.
Well done. Yeah. Well done.
And your game?
Lords of Battle, which is good for me. It's good for my force. I've decided. I'm very glad that it's my get buff bat rep. I'm very glad. So Lords of Battle. Who was I playing in Lords of Battle? Was it David Reed?
You got either Chris, David, or
Chris
Kieran.
Chris Murphy.
Yeah. Oh, Malmouth.
Chris Murphy. So Chris Murphy, what a great guy. I voted for him for my best sportsman, I think.
Well, when I was in Scotland, I voted for him best sportsman as well. He won it then.
He's a lovely dude. I really liked him and David. I was really chuffed to be able to play both. I loved it. Loved the games. Great fun. So he brought a Grey Company and Khazad amalgamation. And I've played against that before quite a lot.
Yeah.
Against Pete, because Pete brings that. So the whole idea is that you've got your fight for spears behind, the spear support for the old dwarves, which they don't have, Khazad front ranks, Malbeth,
saving everything.
Malbeth doing everything. He had Gimli as well, and I was surprised Gimli was there
rather than
like a Balin.
Okay, well I can see why. When it's only one hero, there's very little between them, and Gimli's that bit more survivable with the extra fate point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not saying it was a wrong or right decision. Just I was
expecting to see
Balin and saw Gimli. So this was interesting. So the way that it kind of panned out was there was like this rock thing on my left flank that was kind of went from the middle through. Now he used basically his 3 points of deployment, which were the range to the north. I think he had 2 of those so that he could have half his force bows. So yeah, he had those guys, and then he kind of used the fact that there was this rock and the board edge to sort of pack up there. So obviously to negate some of the advantages of cavalry to come through. So my goal really was to kind of tease that end, and I actually brought everything else round it's kind of changed the way that the board was. So as opposed to how we were facing there, where you had the channel there.
Start fighting.
Yeah, I basically came around so that I was then kind of facing that flank. Yeah. And this was a really, really good fun game. I felt once I got into that flank, it felt pretty good. It was really close in the little channel, like really, really close. Yeah. And he had one turn where he'd won the combats against, I think, 3 or 4 of the riders that he trapped, and didn't kill them.
Oh, lucky.
I can't remember whether he lost the fight against 2 of them, but he had them trapped, and I think he won the fight but couldn't kill them.
Yeah.
So that was like 4 models, which is quite important when I got priority, especially with a force of my size. Yeah. The highlights of this game was the absolute heroics of Malbeth. So Malbeth was making quite a few saves for people. Yeah. He didn't perform great at the start of the game. I think he fluffed up for 3 or 4 saves, but then then he started to save quite a lot. So I was like, right, I need to get the jump on him. So I tried to make sure I got the correct combat.
Get rid of him.
Yeah, got him knocked down. Didn't manage to kill him. By the end, there was one point, for example, where Erkenbrand had charged in on him, and a Son of Ale. He was knocked on the floor, so I pierced him struck. He's fight 3 now, Beth, isn't he?
I think so, yeah. I don't think he's fight 4.
I think he's fight 3. So if I remember rightly, I then also fainted with Erkenbrand. Erkenbrand, okay. So what's that? That's 12 dice.
Yeah.
Strength went up, I think I needed 4s.
Yeah. We defeated defense 4 naturally, so you'd have to go up
3s.
2.
Oh, yeah, so I would have needed 3s. Needed 3s. Alright, he should be going out of the game. Caused a ton of wounds. Not as many as I thought I would.
Yeah.
Caused a ton of wounds. Malbeth saved something like 6 wounds against himself. The one that got through, he saved with his fate. And I'd called a heroic combat as well. I was like, he's going down. Dead cert. I was absolutely certain.
Well, things like that you should be. Like, you think, okay, you save 3 of the wounds, maybe.
It's like in the game. Again, strategy battle game lends itself to this. It happened in the game against John McCree with Mary killing Eowyn when we've got all of that around him. It happens. Happened in the.
It's like that. The next turn you'll charge an outright against him and you'll die.
Yeah,
but that's the kind of stuff that happens in SPG.
Yeah, it's wonderful. What a great game. So it was really hard fought. It was very tactical. It was close up until the end. Like once the lines were kind of collapsed, I was around on him.
Yeah.
It was a bit more of a slaughter. But it ended up being a very good victory for me, and I was chuffed because he's a good player.
Yeah, he is.
He's a good player. I really enjoyed playing against him. I think he's ex Games Workshop staff.
He is.
Yeah. One of the great things about him is he will say things at certain points. I guess he'll actually say, "I think you mismeasured there," or something like that, which you wouldn't do. Not in a competitive game.
Very true.
Yeah, you would in a friendly game because you are a nice guy. Did you hear that on camera? He's a nice guy. I'm not hoping for it back because I won't get it.
You're not a nice guy.
So then we were on 2 wins, a loss, and a draw, and you were on 3 wins and a loss. Yeah. We could have played each other, couldn't we? Oh no, you moved up to top table.
I was on top table now.
Yeah, because by this point, Tom Harrison, who we have to really kind of take our hats off to, I think.
Yeah, he was playing an Easterling force with Out Fury and only a few Black Dragon upgrades, no Cataphracts. He'd won 4 out of his games. 4 of his 4 games he'd won. So, massive well done.
Changing the meta, Tom. He did really well.
He did really well. He's not changed the meta, though.
No. Yeah. It's not changing the whole average.
Just like you've changed the meta. No.
Not really. We're just doing better with things that are unexpected. So, yeah, so well done to him, man. He kind of... If he'd have lost an earlier game, he'd have been better off.
Yes. Yeah.
Because then he might have been, after he played you,
played something else. Yeah.
Played something else. So he could have done with losing again because he then played against you.
Against me. So we're both on. Well, I'm on 3 wins with incredibly high.
This is Reconnoiter.
Reconnoiter, yeah.
So you've got more models than him.
I have more models than Tom. In his force, he had a war jump, so it gave him +3 inches to movement, and then he heroic marched as well, quite a lot, which stacked to make a +6 inch movement.
Mm-hmm.
So his regular guys are moving 12 inches, and his cavalry are moving 18 inches, which is I was sort of a bit taken aback by how quick he was getting across the board. And with those heroic marches, if you imagine there's a huge building in the middle. I've been edging forwards, trying to shoot him a little bit, but he came down from the top, big unit moved together with the heroic march, big unit together moved with the heroic march, and he was sort of 2 turns off getting his entire force just off the board. At this point, initially I was like, oh no, he's going to get, like 20 straight victory points. And I was like, I called the heroic march with Legolas, thinking that if I could, bring him over, I could stop him getting off so quickly. Then it clicked in my head that once models are off, they don't count as being broken, or the game continues. I was like, well, actually, I've got more models than he has, so my heroic march should have taken me towards him, pushed me to the other side of the board. And it was at this point that Tom also realised his error of getting so gung-ho about how fast he could move off. I mean, I was just like, oh, crap. basically.
Yeah, he can't do anything at that point.
He's then got to bring it all back to try, which he did try to do. But by that point, it was in my favour to start heroic marching and just running 9 inches up. Amder managed to come within range of the blowpipes to try and charge next turn just to get something killed and hopefully, delay me a bit. Shot all the blowpipes at him, didn't kill him but caused a wound and took his face off. And he was like, well, the game's over now essentially because Legolas will just snipe him until he's gone, blow all the might to do it. And then you can just run everything off and I can't stop that.
Yeah.
So we called it there and we said, right.
So a bit of a tactical error.
Tactical error from Tom there. We said, right, what we'll do is gentlemen's agreements. I'll walk my force off, you walk your force off, I get the win, and we both get max VPs, basically. We then played it again, just because we had, like another hour to play, basically. So we thought, right, well, this time we'll play it properly. I realised with my higher model count, he's got to come to me. So I stood up in the corner and was able to shoot him on the way. And we engaged in this line fight, and the Piercing Striking Moses, supported by the Fight Value 5 Elves, went through his lines very quickly. And he got a few off. But I'd broken his line so well that I had a bunch of elves also doing the same. And I then won that game. I think it was 10-4. So we were both happy that I still won the second game.
Yeah.
And that actually...
It didn't make him feel so bad.
About making the mistake.
In the first game, yeah.
But it also then meant that for Tom, he'd actually lost. But because of the way the other game played out, he had more VPs. So it worked out better for him.
Yeah.
And better for me because obviously I got the win and extra VPs as well.
Yeah, tough game for him then.
Very tough. So we discussed it was a bit. It was because he got so gung ho with how fast he could move, and he got sort of excited and overwhelmed about how quickly he could get off, and it worked in both our favour.
Yeah, you've done really well there to. I guess that's the advantage with having your Gambarigan and
8 roses just
to
roses boost the numbers.
Boost your numbers up, yeah. Rather than, I guess what some people would normally do is they would take the 2 warbands and they might use like the rest of the points for another hero.
Extra hero, yeah.
An extra hero. Well, I guess if you're playing through the 6 scenarios,
numbers are going to help you.
Numbers are going to be a massive help, especially on something like Reconnoiter.
So who was your Reconnoiter against?
My Reconnoiter was against David Reed, who was bringing, he's from Scotland.
2 Scots in a row.
2 Scots in a row. Great guys.
2 Hobbits in a row, 2 Scots in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. With a maths teacher in between.
Yeah.
It was good. So I played against David Reed and he brought an Isengard army. His Isengard army was a lot of just normal Uruks with shield, a few berserkers, supported by Orc Spearmen, and then Braskuru crossbows.
Braskuru's such a good hero.
Yeah, Braskuru crossbows, an Uruk captain, and an Uruk shaman. So lots of people think when they hear the cavalry force, they think, don't want to come up against that in Reconnoiter because of course you can get off the board and get off of it quick. But the issue is that there's not many armies you're going to outnumber. Yeah, I'm not going to be coming up against Jamie's Thorin's company like we did.
Yes, in Huddersfield, that was the definition of an easy cavalry victory in Reconnoiter.
Yeah, but you've got to be up against an all-hero army, or a very, very elite small force. But you are an elite small force, so it makes it very tough. So another one of the hard things about this,
it's a 25% game end, isn't it?
It's a 25% game end. And you've got 21 models. That means that the game will end when when only 5 models are left. But because when you exit the board, those models count staying alive. If you need to die to win,
you can only let off 5.
You can only let off 5 models. Yeah. And the problem with that is, if you're then going to have to die to win, you're going
to break.
You're going to break, which means that's 3 VPs to them. And
you generally should be one of those ones who gets off to deny them that. And they only need to get 2 victory points, 2 models off before the game ends for them to draw with you. 3 to win it. And that's hard to stop.
It's really hard. Really, really hard. So it was. Now, I would just like to say that this was a fantastic game. I had some really good games. Yeah. You know, like a lot of people, the first game might have been a non-game, but I was very, very lucky. The rest of the games were really, really, really good fun.
Yeah.
One frustrating game at the end. Yeah. But it was a great game. It was thematic and cool, and this was thematic, against Isengard, the Rohan. And what my goal was, right, I'll get my soft people off.
Yeah.
So the Outriders, get them off the side. And they went up with Eowyn, and she had some Sons of Ale with her, so she kind of came round the back to sort of get the crossbows. I'd angled everything off so the crossbows couldn't follow me, and engaged him quite high up the table. One of the mistakes that I made was that my thinking was, I think this is another problem. You're not going to make Eowyn or even Erkenbrand your force leader.
Yeah.
Because,
you can't risk that for the rest of the games.
You can't risk it for the rest of the games. So Eorl has to be your force leader with the 2 fate, 2 wounds, rather than 1 fate, 2 wounds from Erkenbrand, or the horrible stat of 2 fate, 1 wound,
defense 4
for Eowyn. Mingin. So, but here's the thing, which is going to be likely to hold up the most.
And get in combat.
Get in combat and do things. And I actually sort of got the jump on some things early on. I was quite happy with how things are going. I made sure I got enough that could just get off the table.
Yeah.
So what I did was I got the 5 off the table, and I left 1 up there because I thought if my leader dies and get broken,
you need that just to draw us.
I just get him off to draw.
Yeah.
But I actually was in a position where I could have actually left another 1 up because I'd engaged him high up enough the table.
Right.
And I actually came back with that rider to stop the crossbows from just trying to run off the table. If I'd have realised that we were going into our last 2 turns of the game,
for time limit,
I'd have run away with Ale and I'd have won that game.
Yeah.
Or run up with one of my troops that was engaging the crossbows and won that game.
Yeah. So some of that's through tournament practice and tournament sort of just experience, really.
Definitely.
It's knowing just to keep an eye on time, how long turns might be taking, and just really that's metagaming the system. It's knowing you're playing. Right, I've got 10 minutes left. Call it 2, maybe 3 turns.
I mean, Uruk-hai are tough.
Yeah,
Uruk-hai are tough.
Well, things like they equal your fight value, and they're killing you on 5s.
Yeah, and they have a spear. They're spear support. So a lot of the time, my 2 attacks on the charge against their 2. Although I had come around the back. Hit the orcs, which was a big part of my strategy, which was working quite well. But I made a mistake without realising at the time, chucking Ale the Young in against his captain. Okay, and Ale the Young just wasn't good enough.
Bit the dust.
Wasn't good enough. If that had been Aemonite and Pelennor, I'd have fancied my chances.
Yeah.
But
was that his general or was it Graska?
That was his general.
Yeah.
That was his general.
So he's gone for the extra VPs.
Yeah, went for the extra VPs. No complaints though. What a great game, and probably would have been harsh to David if I'd have won, because he probably had opportunities to move to try
break through.
Not break through. Because as I was whittling down, my kind of defence was becoming more kind of coming back to the middle to kind of concentrate. But he could have kind of just avoided and tried to go round.
Yeah.
But it was a great game, fantastic opponent, and I guess a draw was worthwhile.
You drew the game in the end.
It was 6-6.
That one rider.
That one rider. That's what I mean. One rider. In fact, one rider was making a break for it at the end, and he shot it off. But Dice Down was called.
Yeah.
Sorry, 2 riders were making a break. One was Eowyn, one was a rider. Dice Down was called. We started the next turn. He probably had another 2 turns to walk off. And Eowyn would have gone off.
Yeah.
Oh, God. But as Jamie says, experience.
Yeah. Knowing when the game is ending is a big thing.
Yeah, and I would like to start practicing at some point using my mental.
Using time. Time is a thing.
Using time. We should have a few more friendly games. All of our games at the moment for camera.
Because we can't afford to not.
Can't afford to not because we need content.
Yeah.
But it would be great to get some games where
we have a strict time limit. It's like, right, you've got half an hour left. What are you going to do?
And play all the scenarios.
Yeah. We do have a very sort of limited that we're actually playing, aren't we?
Yeah. Like, I don't. How many? I tend to play Lords of Battle most of the time.
We've only really played 2 games, haven't we? 3, I think.
Yeah, one of them was High Ground.
Dwarves. We played High Ground, Lords of Battle, and Lords of Battle. I think the 3.
Yeah, which suited me. So if you look at that, if I was playing against Jamie at Reconnoiter or Hold Ground, as long as you came in, it would be difficult for me. So although my record might be quite good against you, it's from playing these other scenarios.
Scenarios that benefit the force.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I think the new Hobbit scenario is quite good for me.
Yes,
if you look at how they are. So that was my game. That meant I had 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss.
Yeah.
So we went into the final game.
We did.
So you went. Yeah, good idea. Pause. So we went into the final game.
Yep.
And
I drew Tom Harrison again. And you can't change your opponent in the final game. That's one of the sort of standard rules. It's 4 o'clock. No Middle-earth studies warband today.
No. Might get one in.
Yeah.
Nah, you should get one in. Okay. If we're quick.
Yeah. So, general ruling is last game of the tournament you can't change your opponent because it's going to affect the very final standings, and you've been drawn against them for a reason, the fact that you are the closest to each other. So I played Tom on hold ground and
high ground.
High ground.
So high ground's the one where you've got the big hill in the middle,
of the hill,
and you get points for being in contact with.
Yeah, 1 VP for being touching or being on the hill, 3 for the general, 3 for breaking, and 1 if you've wounded or are both broken. So I was feeling sort of quietly confident, seeing how in the last game the lion fight panned out.
Yeah,
I was feeling relatively confident for this one. I set up. We both set up opposite sides of the hill. I had some bow shots on him, so I was happy to stay where I was. And Tom used the drum to run forwards over the hill, get onto the other side of the hill. And on the 3rd turn, he was in my charge range, so he could charge me and I could charge him.
Mm-hmm.
I won priority, and I was thinking, should I move back 3 inches and get extra round of shooting in? Or should I go for the charge and fight him since he's now over the hill?
Do you go for the charge?
Went for the charge because I thought, I've killed, I think, about 2 or 3 already, so I've already had a bigger number advantage than him. Yeah. I thought, I need to use this before I lose it, basically. I don't want to break him and not be on the hill.
Which is the problem with this one as well.
Yeah. Because this is random game ending as well, isn't it, this one? Because I remember...
yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, Tom wanted it to end earlier rather than later.
Yeah, it's a tough... Random game endings are tough.
Yeah. So many of the old Legions of Middle-earth before it was Warband were random game ending, and I hate to say, but I always felt at tournaments that it really did me over in quite a few scenarios that the game ended first turn, or I was winning for 7 turns and then it went to the 8th turn. And
the first time I ever lost a game of strategy battle game,
random game.
Pete, it was a random game ending.
Yeah.
His dwarves were in the middle, and I killed him too quick, and
Yeah,
I wasn't there, and it ended.
Yeah.
Like on the first go, I was like, no! Taught me a lesson.
Yeah.
Taught me a lesson, but...
So the one else charged in, started just chopping stuff up, piercing striking with the roses. Heroes got in and started using the spear support from the elves to make them fight 5 if they weren't already. Start killing 5s because they're strength 4.
Mm-hmm.
And managed to get Rumil charged into Ander after heroic combat. Pike support from the guard meant that Rumil could feint without the penalty to his fight value, which is a nice little thing. Managed to win the fight because he had to reroll his 6s, caused a wound with Rumil, used his fate and failed it on a 1, so he couldn't might it up because he'd used might earlier in the game to call his own heroic combat. And then the next turn, Legolas, 1 shots, hits the rider, rolled a 3, and he used all my might from Legolas to kill the general there and then.
Worth it.
Worth 3 VPs, gets rid of 2 of his might. Legolas is down on might then, and his might general, so I've got to keep him very safe.
Yeah, you got to look after him.
But that's the biggest threat in the army gun. That's the Fight 6 model with 2 attacks, 3 on charge, that could actually do real damage to me.
And that was it then, you just bowled him over?
Rolled over, started to parry and shield.
Table him?
No, I think it ended.
It ended before you
Before I could do that.
But by this point you'd already sort of got your models on the hill.
I hadn't actually. So I wasn't broken, but I started to put the elves in and started to shield, basically parrying, so that I could delay the game for me to get round and onto the hill. And then once I was on the hill,
good tip, that kids.
Don't kill your opponent too quick.
Be very mindful of the break points.
I realised this. I think it was like, how many minutes you broken? 3? Okay, shield. This game ended too soon.
Yeah, that's a really good tip, especially for new players who won't
also,
do those things like
remember when it says the game ends on a random roll when the 1 force is broken on one of the 2? If you break someone, you have 1 full game turn to play before you roll. Like you break at the beginning of the turn. So let's say you've got you break enough models die for you to be broken in 1 turn. You don't roll at the end of that turn. You break at the start of the next turn, play that full turn out, and then roll again. It means that if you do accidentally break someone, you've got one turn to try and salvage it before you start rolling to end.
And that was you, tournament 1.
Tournament 1, yeah.
Congratulations, Jamie. You deserved it. You deserved it. Really,
Those
really well.
roses, man, they were the unit of my tournament.
That was a great decision, and I can see exactly why you would do that as well. You know, because if you're playing all 6 scenarios, numbers is important. You know, I think minimum of 28 models is what you need.
Yeah.
Minimum. So 21 model cavalry force.
Bit weak.
Maybe do alright on some 1 days that got
Yeah.
particular scenarios, but maybe not on a 2 day that's got all of them, unless they're hobbits. Desolation Schmalz scenarios.
But your last game, Kieran.
Wow! What a game! Kieran is a top dude, by the way.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. I love Kieran.
Loves to play for theme and fun rather than anything else.
Yeah, like he'll do crazy things at the end of a game. Like if he's winning,
Got on some heroic rampage.
he'll just do it just because it looks cool. You know, he's got like the philosophy of I'll shoot into every single combat because
I'm evil.
I'm evil, and that's what I can do. He's a really, really good guy. Plays for theme. So he was very excited to be playing against all Cavalry Rohan because he has an Isengard force. Now, his Isengard force is very different to David Reed's. He prefers his pike blocks. He's still got the crossbows with Brasku because that's almost a must.
Yeah, it's a staple of the Mordecai force.
It's and he doesn't. Does he take many berserkers? I think he's got like. Has he got a couple of
No,
berserkers?
he doesn't have any.
No ferals or no berserkers. No. So just all standard warriors. So standard warriors, pikemen, shaman, captain, banner. Yeah, banner. And very, very important actually in the way that
his force works.
His force works. So high ground. It's a hard one again for me.
Yeah.
Because my opponent will set up on the hill.
Yeah.
Because it benefits them.
Yeah.
Because they know that it would be stupid for me to negate my advantage as cavalry to set up that close and not be able to get the charge if I get charged first. It would be silly. So they know that, right, let's take that objective. So already he's got models on the hill. Yeah. He also, there was like this big cliff thing that he put his crossbowmen that had line of sight across
pretty much the field of battle.
Pretty much the field of battle. Now I did quite well. I thought I played that quite well to avoid that kind of. A couple of models had to do a little bit of a gun run, but not really. Got everything round to the opposite side of the hill from where his stuff was. And then when he decided to make the jump down with his crossbowmen, that was my moment. It's like, right, get in now while they can't shoot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So got myself in position, got the charge off that I needed, and had everything in place for the counter charge. It looked wonderful.
Yeah.
It looked great. Got my charge off. Won tons of combats. Knocked tons down. Now remember, my first charge is mostly Sons of Ale.
Yeah.
He is on this hill, so nearly every single one of my Sons of Ale is charged in on individual models. Okay? Winning those combat. I think Ale.
Does he have Fury?
Yeah, he's got Fury up.
Channel?
He's channeled. So he's got his channeled Fury for his fate save. He's got his banner in there.
Yeah, to reroll facts.
And that's right in the middle of this pike block.
Just a little cluster of Oryx.
Yeah, so nothing can really move apart from the outer layer.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to be killing when you've knocked things down and you're rolling 6 dice, needing 5s. I didn't kill anything for the first 2 turns of getting the charge. I called a heroic combat with Ale because I thought, right, okay, let's maximise the number of things I can kill.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. He lost that combat. In order to stop losing that combat, I burnt all of his might.
Yeah.
Which was a stupid decision in retrospect. But after what had happened in the David Reed game, it kind of was playing on my mind.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I always feel that way in heroic combat, so that if you've called one, you feel like you've made that investment, so you might as well go for it. It can always come back to bite you.
It did, because a lot of the time he was rolling 3 dice. Not all the time, but a lot of the time he was rolling 3 dice, particularly on the right side of the hill.
Yeah, he's got more planks there.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, well, you know, if I fail 2 fate,
that's essentially a dead hero.
He's dead.
Dead general.
Because, you know, the strength 4, it's not impossible.
No, 6s. Sorry, yeah, still 6s. Defense 7.
Yeah, defense 7 is still 6s. So I kind of used that might, which was probably the one thing in that game that I might have done differently. But it did allow me to kill. But it was only worth 1 Uruk. That's why it wasn't worthwhile. Because then when I charged the next lot, Ale then proceeded to lose every single combat.
I've had games like that.
Every single combat.
Can't make Thranduil.
Oh,
Against Erkenbrand.
Against Erkenbrand, it is, yeah.
Be like, oh, stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horrendous. It's horrible. It's horrible. So in the 2 or 3 turns I got the charge, I killed very little, but I was still reasonably confident.
Intense,
Yeah, it was very, very close. A lot of people were turning around and commenting because obviously they love the look of it. Cause it looks
it's
great.
Rohan versus Isengard. It's always good to have.
Yeah, Cavalry Rohan versus Isengard on a hill. But people would turn around and go, have you stopped playing? Because nothing was dying. Nothing was dying. And then I did start to whittle him down.
Yeah.
And his block was getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller.
Keep the formation.
And whenever I was losing anything, I was getting the counter charges in with the things that I had on the outside. And I was reasonably confident at this point. I managed to kill Vrasku with Eowyn. He jumped off of. I'm not sure whether it should have been a jump or a climb because it was quite a high way.
Yeah.
But he was jumping them off.
Yeah.
And
but I think the outcome's the same anyway. That you fall, you take that many. It's 3 hits.
Yeah, it should have been because it was over the model height.
Yeah.
It was 2, so he should have taken 2 maybe instead of the 1. But yeah, he rolled a 1, so Vrasku
took some hits.
Yeah, I think he used a fate.
Did you say you used a might point to avoid?
Oh yeah. I think he did actually. Yeah, and then he was killed by Eowyn, and it was close. My dice weren't rolling great though to win.
Vrasku is general.
No, his captain was general. And I was still kind of confident, but I wasn't really rolling anything more than a 4.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of times.
Like my game versus Steve.
Yeah.
Where you're doing everything you can, but it's just not going your way.
I went through every single different colour of dice until I ended up on the 1 ring dice.
Oh god.
Again. But the 1 ring dice did better than everything else. It was still close because pretty much everything in mine was in contact with the hill. Everything. Now because it was the last game, we were kind of allowed a bit of leeway.
Yeah.
Just carry on and
finish the turn rather than dice down.
And I got priority on not the last turn, but maybe the 2 turns before that. And I was getting in there, and I thought this could be mine.
Yeah,
this could be mine.
It's yours to lose, or yours to win.
Yeah,
Which
I thought.
one?
Yeah,
yours to win.
I thought so. Yeah, I thought I can do this because I'm getting the charge. Then last turn, he got priority. And that was it. Yeah. That was it. I lost. It was similar to the Owen game. I lost 6 models.
Oh no.
Didn't win a combat. Couldn't kill anything. That was it. It was...
Can you hear the rain?
Oh my days. It was... I would say if it wasn't a game...
Eyes.
Oh my eyes! I'm indoors tonight, that's lucky. Just thinking, not doing outdoor fitness tonight. If I wasn't playing against someone as awesome as Kieran, who loves theme and loves cool stuff, that could have been really frustrating, just because of the dice rolls.
Yeah.
It's hail as well, isn't it? It's hailstones.
Getting distracted.
So, I lost that last game.
2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses.
So as Tom Harrison famously said, it's about average. Yeah, you're a nice guy, really.
Yeah.
So we had a tournament winner, and as a result of that, I placed 13th or something, which was the lowest out of the card journey people. But in my head,
you won.
No. It was great. It was really good fun, and I learned loads from having to play all the scenarios, and it's made me realise that I need to practice playing all of the scenarios.
Yeah. Well, what we're going to go into next is going to be the sort of the award ceremony. I've got that recorded, so that'll play now.
Well, thank you everybody for coming. We've had 22 players, including people with 1-day tickets. It's been a great turnout. Thank you ever so much. So well done. I will just plug our next event while I've got a captive audience. Woo! Ed's already bought his ticket. May Bank Holiday, so May the 3rd and 4th, so another Saturday, Sunday. It's £20 to get, includes food both days. It's 1,000 points. Ooh. Okay.
So many horses.
Before anybody thinks, where am I going to put all those 1,000-point games? We're doubling the size of the game and all, because we're going next door as well. Okay. So you'll play on a a 6x4 table and the minimum amount of game time will be 2 hours 15 minutes. So if you want to get a ticket today, you can. If you want to turn up on the day, you can. We're easy going. Hit us up on Facebook, anything like that. If you haven't liked us on Facebook, please like us on Facebook.
Dreamlike Gaming, Tom, isn't it?
Yeah, Dreamlike Gaming. Okay, so I've got 5 awards to give out. I always like to start with the most sporting player. So the votes came in, it was close, but there was only 1 vote in it in the end. So congratulations to Billy, you are our most sporting player.
Where is it? Is he behind me? There he is.
That gives you £10 store credit for the shop, which you can use as and when if you want to. So well done, Bill. It's your first tournament, mate. Well done. One of the things that we also like is painted armies, and I must admit I'm pretty blown away. I think the only person that didn't have a fully painted army was me. So from our 2 games. The voting again, the studio staff went around and had a look at all the armies. They thought they were all fantastic, but Damien, well done, best painter. That's for you, £10 store credit, mate, so use as and when. See me afterwards.
Picture.
10 cups of tea, 20 cans of pop. Yes. So on to some more serious business. I'll do 3rd, 2nd and 1st. 3rd place it was very close, but give it up to Charles. Well done. Again, that's £10 store credits used in store, so add more filter to your army.
Another 3 watches, isn't it?
I've got 20 cans of pop, you know, I can send mine twice. 2nd place, well done, Ed.
Stay down. What are you doing? Duck across.
Right, thanks for coming. So that just leaves 1st place, absolutely destroyed pretty much everybody, which we'll see if we did we.
Me twice.
Yeah. Not Ed. Well done, Jamie. I will do a complete ranking for everybody. We're up until 6 o'clock, so if you want to play X-Wing around, whatever. If you want to shoot off, I'll post it on the Facebook group and also the event page. So just so you all know where it is. It's just because I'm last. And a round of applause for Tom.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed yourself. We hope to see you again.
Guys, you stay here, I'll take a photo of your desk.
That was great. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was good. It's good tournament. And we're going back to the next one in January, February, March, April, May.
Yeah, we would recommend everybody, especially if you're getting ready to come to Throne of Skulls, this is going to be a 1,000-point tournament, which will be great preparation for that tournament.
Yes, you've got to. I'm not sure what scenarios they're doing or if they're changing it. The event pack isn't up at the time of recording here, but their Facebook group will be in the description below, so go like that and keep up to date with what they were doing.
Now, they are extending their gaming hall by the time of this tournament, which means there'll be a lot more room. So, you know, definitely come down and get involved. It was a brilliant tournament.
Yeah.
The people were great. You know, I've got some special thank you to Tom and your staff for running a great tournament.
Yes, yeah. They all dressed up Lord of the Rings themed as well.
I noticed, yeah.
Hobbits and elves.
Hobbit and elves, yeah. The girl came in and was like, I can't believe I've been made to dress like Tariel. I didn't even notice.
Didn't even, just thought you were wearing a corset.
Yeah, just thought you were wearing a corset.
Corset.
It is Mansfield.
Yeah.
Most people wearing corsets somewhere else.
Yeah.
And brassieres, stockings, lots of hen do's out on that.
Yeah.
So big thank you to you guys. That's from everybody who attended the event. Massive thank you to all of my opponents. You were all brilliant. Love meeting you all. Great to meet like Josh. So massive thank you to you for letting me stay. Good to see a lot of guys that I've seen before, people that we've not seen before, met before, like Thomas Macklin.
Billy for me, John McCree.
Yeah. Yep, great meeting you all. So this has been our tournament review. We saw a lot of new dwarfs.
Yes, new dwarf. Well, actually, we saw a lot of the new dwarf, old dwarf alliances.
Yeah,
That's
which we expected. We called that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. We called that.
Yeah.
Ages ago.
It's
our first ever unboxing. We called that.
Yeah.
It was our first unboxing, wasn't it?
The Dwarf Warriors. Yeah.
Yep. So we saw a lot of that. We saw Alfred.
3 Alfreds. Yeah. All with the dwarfs.
And it worked a lot better
in armies. Like, we're going to discuss this, won't we? Damien took Alfred along with his hero force. Was it this video we mentioned earlier? Yeah, it was when you played it.
Yeah, I played him, yeah.
And his sort of findings were that he reckons that 60-point combo would work so much better in an army where you can't reach them as easily.
Especially a hero that can sit back like a Legolas.
Legolas would be a great example for what it'd be used for. So Legolas uses all his might trying to wound stuff, and they give him free might back to keep on wounding stuff, basically.
Yeah, and it worked really well for Owen in our game because he had a proper army. It allowed him to bring some cheap spear support.
Yeah,
which is brilliant.
6 points for spears. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Allowed him to bring some cheap spear support, which really got his numbers up. Which where did Owen place? 5th.
I think 5th or 4th. Yeah.
What we lost against because that kind of army.
He lost to Ed in high ground in his hobbits.
Okay.
And Ed placed 2nd overall.
And you lose another game as well. He must have done.
Yeah, he must have lost something else.
He must have lost another game as well. Because he's getting cheap spear support, and on a scenario like if you're able to give might to the dwarf banners that are with King's Champion, Dwalin, those kind of heroes, they're just.
But it's the King's Champions to give it to, so there's no risk for them that you're going to lose might. It's just Alfred will gain 1 or they'll gain 1 or up to 3. Then they can the hero match.
Why has he got 0 might? King's Champion.
Oh, so King's Champion's fine. His heralds.
Oh, his heralds, yeah.
0 might. So if you give it to them,
because he can use them, can't he?
He can use their fate.
Oh, their fate, not their might. Yeah, so that's what he was doing, and that meant he could keep his force together, which I would have had a really hard time regardless, to be honest. But it takes away that kind of strategy of trying to pick off one area of his force. But he would, if I'd have done that, then he would just come and take him in the middle objective anyway, and then I'd have had to try and wrestle it off of him.
It's not a nice thing to do.
It's going to be really, really tough. So, Alfred, I'm thinking of maybe taking him with Knight of the Pelennor.
I was for this 350-point tournament that's next up, the best event ever. That's next weekend. I'm tempted to take Alfred as a 20-point hero.
Yeah, I think so.
I think at that small points level, if I've got sort of 6 might already, maybe 5 might, just having that extra potential 3.
Yeah, I think. Well, I could drop a son.
Drop a son of Ale and take Alfred.
And take Alfred.
Start first game. There you go. Have some might.
Yeah.
Run off and leave him behind.
Worth it.
Yeah. Leave him on an objective.
350. I might work out how I might do the Sons of Ale.
So think of it as a 330 list you build.
What's that?
Think of it as a 330 list you build.
Yeah, I think it might be worthwhile to do that.
Yeah.
Especially my sort of cavalry force, because then I'll get in Knight of the Pelennor.
Yeah. Well, you'd have Knight of the Pelennor on 1 warband, wouldn't you, really?
In that list, yeah. Unless you did Ale and something else, but I like Knight of the Pelennor.
He's worth it.
He's worth it, and I did miss him in the tournament. I did miss him, although in some ways it was better.
Yeah.
I just didn't have anything to come up against some of the heroes that were there.
Yeah.
So that's been our tournament review for Mansfield.
Dreamlike gaming, yeah.
Yeah, we both had a great time. We would recommend everybody come down and give it a go. Lots of people saying to us, we're really gutted that you've got such an amazing tournament scene in the UK and we're not there. It is worth a weekend.
Yeah.
You'll come for a week if you come from far. Do some touristy stuff. Then come and have some back reps with us, and then for the weekend, the tournament.
Yeah.
Definitely worth doing. If you're interested in doing that, email ilovewargaming@gmail.com. This has been GBHL James.
And GBHL Jamie, the tournament winner.
Woohoo! A big congratulations again.
Right.
And who came second and third?
Ed Ball came second, Charles Sims came third.
Yep, so congratulations to those guys, and congratulations to Damien for winning Best Painted.
Yes, yeah. And goodbye from us, and after this you'll see some you'll see all the armies that I got recorded.
Yeah, and we'll do a talk over. No?
I might. Yeah, I'm a computer.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. No point Skyping or anything.
No.
So there you go, guys. Enjoy seeing all the different armies. Support your Hobbit hobby.
Happy to talk to you about gaming.
Bye.